Hey everyone, it's To Be Shores. It's still March the 19th, 2021. It's 8:59 p.m. Okay, in that last video we were talking about the meaning of in the midst. We come to understand that that is about that inner part of us that is the center of us, the core of who we are, that inner man, that spirit man. Of course, that's directly connected to the pea gland. And this is all about the enemy wanting to create, as we looked into the meaning of mischief, sorrow, and wickedness, creating the state within, okay? And all that these words meant. The enemy wants to create that state within. You have to understand that this isn't just about creating things like depression and anger and just making people feel bad. This is about stirring up these negative emotions and feelings within and letting the enemy take control, okay? Because this is leading to not just about the human nature being angered and stirred and provoked. This is about taking it to a point of the level of darkness within becoming a demon possession, okay? It's about starting it. It has to start it's at some place, because there's got to be a letting them in thing taking place, okay? When you understand the pea gland is that spiritual connection, that spiritual conduit, that's what we'll call it, where the Lord resides and he speaks to us, and the enemy wants to silence that through what is in the stick and how it will manipulate the building blocks and the pea gland, everything that controls this temple, this body. Now keep in mind too, this is not just about those who call themselves by the name of the Lord. Everyone is God's creation, and this is about defiling his creation, about making his creation unredeemable, okay? And that is the end goal here. And this feeling the darkness within to the point of demon possession is about the enemy building up his army, okay? Now, the good side of that is, and the Lord has shown me in many videos that I have put out, how the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness rise at the same time, because the Lord will not let the darkness increase without countering that, okay? We see that in the book of Genesis, okay? In the beginning, when God created light and darkness. Okay, so when we look at the level of darkness within that the enemy wants to create, we can get into understanding that, let's see, I'm trying to see which one of these. I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. It's this one. Okay. I did this video back in November of 2013. And in this, it was a series. Of course, this was video 45. He always has me do these long series. So guess what? We're at, what, 28, 29 right now? Sit back and enjoy. But anyway, this was video 45 of a series. This particular video was entitled Satan's Deceptions, Delusions, and Fear. Well, that is where we are. Back then, if you go back and listen to these old videos, of which I have some of them, the Lord was giving basic understandings of these things to me at that point. My understanding then was not quite what it is today, but I can clearly see the Lord was showing me these things all along. He's just expanded upon it now. But in this particular video, the reason I pulled this one up is here we see this, I know my video skills were not that great back then, but we see this from the CDC. I'm trying to get it to where you can see it. It's the CDC website about zombie preparedness, okay? When you understand what the enemy is planning to do about silencing the voice of God within his creation and replacing it with darkness to the level of demon possession, then you can clearly see where this zombie apocalypse comes into play, because this is about deadening the spirit of the man, of the inner man, the man within, the heart of us, which is that core of what makes us who we are. It's about deadening that and replacing it with demons, okay, where this body is just a host for the army of the enemy. But again, like I said, as the darkness rises, so does the light, which means the Lord is going to fill those who are his with his light ever increasing as the darkness increases. So that, of course, we've got to look forward to. But we have to understand what the enemy is doing as well as what the Lord is doing. Because the Lord has had me cover for years now, many times I've spoke about the infilling that's coming, the empowerment that's coming, and the job that God has for his chosen to do during this time of darkness that's coming upon this earth, because God does not wish any to perish. And I won't get into all that now, but you understand where I'm going. So here, even back in 2013, the Lord was showing me about this zombie army that was coming. And let's see, I'm thinking, yes, even in this, this was in 2015, May of 2015, and I won't elaborate on this, but the Lord was showing me about CERN and how basically with it, I got an understanding that to remove the things within us that create discernment and concern, then they've eliminated the senses within us that would allow us to recognize what the enemy is doing. And it's sad to say, but I already see that in many people. They're not discerning what's happening, and they don't see excuse me, they don't see anything suspicious or unusual about the stick. And another thing I want to insert here is understanding that, and I don't have confirmation on everything, but I do believe it's about a process that's taking place, to things being put in place to implement the mark, and this is one of those stepping stones. Okay, we're going to pop back over here now. I just wanted to reemphasize the depth of the darkness that the enemy intends to put within God's creation. Okay, so we're going to look right now at this latter part of verse 11 in Psalm 55. I think it sheds some light on some things, and I think I'm just going to talk from my notes. Maybe we got time to click in. Let's do it. Okay, now this says, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. When we click into deceit, we find that it speaks about, in definitions, it's this Hebrew word is from the same base as H8432, which is in the sense of cutting to pieces. Okay, that's pretty severe right there. Okay, cutting to pieces. It's about tearing apart. Okay, when we look up the word, here we see oppression. When we look up the word oppression, uh, we see just basically it means prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. And that's a pretty basic understanding, but when you look into, do some homework on how people have been oppressed throughout history and what that equates to, and then try to see it in the terms of what the enemy is about to do, it will be quite eye-opening. I wish I had time to get into a lot of things that are on my mind, but we just don't have the time. Now, also with this word, let's see, deceit. It meant to, I'm trying to see, I'm not seeing it here, to sever, but that goes back to this sense of cutting into pieces. So this is about destroying, basically. And deceit, we know, okay, as I look at my notes, it says to sever, a bisection. So it's about cutting into pieces, dividing up, okay? And we know that right now the enemy is deceiving to divide up God's kingdom because he wants to make his creation unredeemable. Okay, as we go back to this in verse 11 and we look at the word guile, deceit and guile. When we look at guile and we come down here, I'm trying to see, in the sense of deceiving, fraud, craft, deceitfulness, false, foreign, guile, subtle, I can't, my tongue won't go that way, subtly, treachery. Treachery is the one that jumped up in my face here, and I don't think I have it pulled up, but basically treachery is about betrayal of trust. And what really stood out to me about that is how it links back to 2 Thessalonians, where we talked about the falling away, because it says, delude or betray as if causing to fall. And when we look over here at delude, this is what the meaning is: impose a misleading belief upon someone, deceive or fool. And that is where we are right now, okay? This is about misleading people. I mean, the world has been misled in every shape and way for over a year now. Everything has been hyped up, I guess that's the word I'm going to use, concerning the illness and the face covering and the stick. Everything has been hyped up to put fear, okay, fear into people. And that is about gaining control. And it goes on to say that in the latter part of this, we're going to try to wrap this up in this in this video, for the simple fact that we need to move on to some other things. Okay, it says to depart, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. And what I was getting out of that as I looked it up, of course, that means depart means depart not means that it's not going anywhere, okay? It's not going anywhere. When I looked it up, it said to broaden or grow wide. So it's about, just as we talked about, this darkness increasing and getting more severe. And it will not depart. This is letting us know it's not going anywhere. So we need to be seeking the Lord, getting as close to him as we can, asking his guidance and understanding so that we know his voice when we hear it. And I'm going to cut this off here and see where we're going next time. I love y'all. Bye-bye.